on to the next release planning?
I think we're good.
Okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to the Flatcar community call for March 2022. I'll share my screen and we'll have a look at today's agenda. All right. So this is the GitHub org page of the Flatcar Linux org. If you check out the pinned repository where you should report all issues you encounter with Flatcar and check the discussions, you will find the agenda discussion for the community call of the respective month. And so that discussion will be opened about 1 or 2 weeks before the call starts. If you want to add an item, it's your chance. Just comment to the issue and we'll pull in your item. Then you can have a chat with us. You can also add items in the call, but since we're a pretty small team today, I think it'll be a straightforward call. Let me briefly edit this and add the YouTube live stream, which also serves as the recording. So people can click it and we'll have a recording of what we're going to do today. Right. It's just the 3 of us today. So welcome visitors of the stream, but there's no one from the community joining. So that'll be a rather brief office hours, I guess. Newsflash. Matthew, do you want to cover the new releases? Otherwise, I just keep talking throughout the meeting and I don't want to.
I can say something.
Thank you.
So for this release, it ended yesterday. It's a maintenance release and a new major for alpha, and most of all these releases are patched with a dirty pipe CV issue, so that's cool. On the notable change, we have a patch on the kernel to fix some issue with Cilium regression we got on LTS kernel of so that's cool too. And what can we say? Okay, the C group V1 topic. So maybe Jeremy, you want to elaborate on this sentence?
Yeah. So prior to these releases, so this affects or applies to alpha and beta for the time being. Prior to these releases, if you wanted to switch to C groups V1, you needed to change grub config in the OEM partition from Ignition or some other way. But this required another reboot after provisioning to be applied because Ignition runs after the bootloader. The bootloader has already configured the command line parameters. So what we did to get rid of that reboot is we implemented a way for Ignition to create a file, and that file is etc flatcar -c group v1. And when that file exists, then the init ramfs will, how should I put this delicately? It will patch the kernel command line that systemd sees so that C groups v1 is mounted. So this has been added to our switching to C groups v2 documentation, or switching C groups documentation in Flatcar docs. So check it out. It's also called out in the release notes. Yeah, and so this should allow people that need to stay on legacy C groups to do so without having to reboot. And I also wanted to say one more thing to the releases section. So if I'm not mistaken, we already have the releases online in the update server and AWS, I think. It may
AWS,
still take a while until it shows up in Azure. But I think the mirrors are updated as well, so for fresh deployments. But yeah, the releases are all live. and it will trickle down into the different sources in the coming, I don't know, hours. Right. Tilo, you want to continue?
Yeah, thank you both. And hi, Saya, thanks for joining. Yeah. Oh, you've missed the Kerberos support for NFS utils on Alpha. That's a new K mod. That
yeah, that was a community contribution. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, thanks, folks. And we had a docs writing day on last Friday. That was pretty exciting. We had a hour-long live stream with people staring at docs. It was nice. We had 11 PRs open it, and 10 of them are already merged. Among other things, we fixed a lot of links that were broken. We updated some of the examples to be more realistic, more user-centered, and we have a new getting started section, which really starts from zero and is based on feedback that we had from users and frequently asked questions that we had from users as well. Now, coming to the spotlight section. The Flatcar maintainers team has been doing a little bit of a review and a planning in the last 2 months, try to identify fields and areas in the Flatcar project they would like to work on, also fields and areas that need some work. And a lot of automation ideas came up, a number of new features came up, and we'd like to use today's meeting to share what the maintainers team is planning to do. This is captured in the roadmap project, in the roadmap GitHub project. But the items, that's not the roadmap. Sorry, in the roadmap GitHub project. So the roadmap project is open for everybody. So if you see a larger item, a larger thing that Flatcar should include and you want to discuss it, please feel free to file a respective issue, to start a discussion, and or to just join the community call and have a chat about it with us. For the time being, the team identified a number of items. Just to give you an overview, they'll be looking into using SysX, then Flatcar systemd SysX is a relatively new system that allows for a layered stack of system extensions, and that is ideal for use for image-based distros. So we're going to replace the legacy Torx mechanism of picking Docker versions and providing custom Docker versions, and we'll replace them with systemd. Systemd SysX will be looking into OEM updates. So the vendor tools, OEM tools, up to now don't have an update mechanism, and that means they will stay at the version that this respective Flatcar instance has been provisioned with. We are building that with systemd SysX, and we're very excited about that because we got a lot of feedback and it is sufficiently complex to implement. Handing off to Mathieu for his roadmap item.
Yeah, for this roadmap item, the main idea is to give some love to the Flatcar test suite, so of the operating system. So basically improve the documentation around Mental, around Cola, how to run tests, how to write tests, how to maintain the whole framework, and also try to decrease the overall runtime of the testing process, because currently it takes quite some time on some cloud provider. So try to implement some strategies in order to decrease the runtime of the test. And big focus on the test of Flatcar to ensure the quality of the operating system.
To be entirely honest, this is my favorite item.
Thank you. It's a bit, let's see how it goes, but
that would be lovely. Yeah, cool. Thank you, Matthew. All right. Cyan, I see you joined. Can you tell us a little bit about your roadmap item?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, so right now the release that we do is primarily done lot of parts of those release pipeline is manual, and one of the major goals of this whole roadmap item is to make the parts as automated as possible. So we will be working on automating the pipeline end to end. And then one of even today I saw one of the during the discussion on Matrix that the PRs and stuff like the maintainers actually trigger the CI pipeline, so contributors don't really have the access to the Jenkins. So one of the item would be to make the whole that part of CI public, so that contributors can file a PR, and then it would be like they can follow up with the PR and get the output and do the see how things goes. So the overall goal is to make the whole process around build and the release more smooth, and the overarching goal is so that more people from the team as well as from the contributors and can start looking into the release of Flatcar.
Awesome. That looks great. And for anybody who doesn't know, when Cyan says the release process is a bit manual, this is the 25-step process that we follow. Most of those items require a person, and quite a few of those items can be automated. So that's a great direction to take. Thank you. Jeremy.
Hi.
Hi.
Sure thing. Can you click on the issue?
Absolutely.
Thanks. So something I have been looking at is how to improve our security posture. And so I will be looking at how we can move Flatcar to supporting TPM 2.0. And in practical terms, what this will result in is that Flatcar as a distro will support secure boot and enrolling encryption keys for full disk encryption in a TPM, so in a hardware-backed storage. And so there are several things that need to be tackled for that to work. So there's work on upgrading some boot-related packages that have been a bit neglected on our side. Ignition, it depends on having Ignition v3 support, because the third revision of Ignition supports Lux and crypt setup. So that's going to be a useful addition for people. Yeah, and the rest is pretty much on our signing side. So we will need to have secure signing infrastructure for the, I mean, we already have signing for a lot of the artifacts, but there are certain additional requirements to get our bootloader signed with the secure boot CA and then certified. So yeah, it's an exciting roadmap item, and I look forward to the features trickling into releases in the next month.
Me too. Thank you. All right. I'll cover Krasimir's item because he's not around. As I covered Kai's item, so Kai's focusing on the SysEx stuff. Krasimir has been working hard under the in the machine room, updating packages and updating e-classes and making things more aligned with Gentoo. Everybody who doesn't know, we're using two e-build repositories. The first is CoreOS Overlay, which is kind of specific to Flatcar, and the other is Portage Stable. That is basically a snapshot of package e-builds over time imported from Gentoo. However, they're not all imported from the same time. So Crashim is working to just upgrade everything, and the ultimate goal of that item is to fully align Portage Stable with Gentoo. So we don't put work into Portage Stable, but instead use a Gentoo snapshot frozen in time and put our work in there and work closer with upstream. That'll also allow for better automation regarding package updates. So that is very exciting to have as well. And that is for the spotlight of today. Again, I'd like to direct your attention to the roadmap board. You can find it by just going to Flatcar Container Linux and then the GitHub org, and then check the project section, and then you will see the roadmap. If you think that there is something missing here, if you feel that if you feel an initiative to contribute to any of the roadmap items on this board, either we've discussed them today or we didn't, please feel free to reach out to us. If you want to propose your own direction, this is exactly what the community call is for. So please talk to us. All right, let's hand over to Sayan for the release planning. Sayan, do you want to share your screen or should I share mine?
Tim says he'll be right back status. So
okay.
I can take over if you want to.
Oh, there he is. just in time. Sayan, would you like me to share the release board or would you like to share yourself?
Sure, yeah, you can share it.
Perfect, cool.
And could you raise your volume a bit on the mic side?
Oh, okay. Is it good now?
No, it's still quite quiet. I don't know.
Is it better? Any better?
Slightly, but yeah. Okay, fine.
Okay, I'll try to speak out loud. I got cough, so maybe because of that. Yeah, so we are in between a release. We just completed the release yesterday, so this was slipped by a week. So I did not start planning the next one. That would probably come after the community, so we would see a gap again for the 3 weeks. But anyway, so and we decided on the release channel that we shift the existing 14 March release to 1st of March release. So for the next cycle, we are starting to work on it, and we have a couple of so I would say the major focus would be around the packages, which would have a couple of upgrades in them. So yeah, and if we cannot look into that, that would probably slip into the next one, but for now we are looking into the backlog one. And as mentioned, we have for contributors looking into contribute, triage section is a good way to look into, because these are the packages which would need a bit of digging on how basically what needs to be done. So if you are interested, triage is the best section to look into, and if you are already doing package maintenance, then triage, as well as you can look into backlog. But yeah, that's mostly like I would say it would be a package upgrade heavy release the next one.
And of course, since we added the awesome deploy with cgroup v1 feature to the current alpha and beta releases, and we don't get any issues reported on that, this will go to stable in basically 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, so another thing I wanted to mention, Tito, so I added my roadmap item, and the idea which I was thinking was, thinking was so the idea that I was thinking was that in the in the blocked or long-term items, we could just give an update of how things are looking from the roadmap item side. So from the next release, if you think that would be good. So.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah. So to provide even more background on that, we've been splitting down those roadmap items into more tangible tasks, which we're gonna plan in the metrics channel starting next week. And we could actually check those off in the release planning as well. That makes a lot of sense. Great
right,
idea.
yeah, so we can pick those individual items into long term, I would say, and then just give an update on how things are looking.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a pretty cool idea.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it. Since we're kind of among ourselves today, do you folks have any questions? This is the Q&A section.
All right, on my side.
Okay.
I'm good as well.
Thanks for joining, everybody. See you all in the release meeting in 2 weeks from now. And otherwise, please tune in to the community call in a month from now. See you around. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.